All right, in this video, we're going to go deep into how strings, numbers, and math operations work together in JS. Everyone knows string concatenation, right? If you add a number with a string, it becomes a string. What is string coercion? String coercion is when the engine automatically converts type number to type string without telling you. Now, that also happens in string concatenation. If you do 5 plus string 1, you get string 51. It coerced the 5 to string 5, and then it added it using string concatenation. Yeah. So the math coercion happens only when you do addition. If you do subtraction, if you do string 1 minus 5, you get the correct answer, -4. If you do string 10 times, and you can even have two strings, right? You get 20. And it works with division as well. So if it's not a plus, don't worry about a string concatenation, okay? All right, now let's talk about the plus plus operator versus the plus one operator and what it has to do with string concatenation. Before that, note that when you have any number in your HTML and you get it via text content, it will always be a string. If I console.log the number from HTML plus 10, let's see what I get. I get 510 and not 15, which is the correct answer. Okay. Now, let's say I want to do a set interval, and we're just going to change the text content by 1 every second. Dot text content plus plus every 1 second. Let's see if this works. Oh, it works. Now, I said that all the values you get from text content will be a string. But why does the plus plus work? Well, plus plus is cool because it actually converts whatever's to the left to a number, okay? Which is not the same as doing this, which a lot of people think is the same, but it's not. So if it equals 2 plus 1, it doesn't convert the 5 to a string. Therefore, string concatenation takes place, and we get this weird number. Okay? So let's go back. Let's change it to this. See, now it works. Let's talk about the greater than and the less than operator. Let's go to the right. Now, this will work if it's a string and a number. Okay, 5 is not greater than 10. Okay. It will work the other way around as well. Okay. Now, for strings, sometimes it doesn't work. What about this? Why is this true? Well, when you use the comparison operator with two strings, it does what's called lexically comparison, comparing things lexically. So it's going to compare the first character, which is 3, with the first character of the one on the right. And since 3 is greater than 1, that's all it needs to know. So the left side is greater. It's true. We can test this by saying, let's say 9. It should be greater than something like this, right? Yep, that's also true because it's only comparing the first character or string or integer, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Now let's talk about the ways that we can convert strings we get from HTML into numbers. Okay, so let's say we don't want to use plus plus. How do we use the plus one correctly? So I'll copy this, plus one. Well, we all know we can use the number constructor to convert whatever we pass in to a number, and that will work. Did you know you can also use the plus sign? This is called the unary operator, and that also works. You can also do the double tilde operator, and this also works. But the double tilde, please don't ever use it. There's a caveat. Let's say I change this 5 to like 5.25, so no longer a whole number. If you use the double tilde, it'll round it to a whole number. See? If you change it back to a plus, then it works. Okay, now let's dive deep into the plus operator. Let's go to the right. All right, so there's two caveats when you're using the addition operator. We know that it converts things to strings. The only time it does it is when you're adding it to null. Because for some reason, when you add things to null, it converts null to a number, which is 0. And the other type is when you add it to NAND. And this time it doesn't convert because both of these types are type number. So if both things are type number, it'll just try to add it. But since it cannot, it'll just return NAND. Cool, right? Now, something more advanced. What if we have string 3 plus 4 plus, let's say, an array times string 10? We get 340. Why don't we get a number? Because remember, we're using multiply here. Huh. Well, okay, let's see. This has to do with orders of operation, which is built into JavaScript. When you have a plus and a multiply, you have to do the multiply first, right? So when you multiply, you're doing string 10 times array. Let's see what we get. String 10 times an array. We get number 0, okay? Because multiplying with no addition will convert this 10 to a real 10, and empty arrays converted to numbers are 0. So we get number 0, but then we're adding number 0 to something with a string. Okay? So now we're going to have string 3 plus string 4 because they converted it, right? And then it's going to convert our 0 to string 0. So we get 340. Now, if I copy the same thing, but I put parentheses here, now we get a number. Why is that? Well, because if it evaluates this first, all of this will be string, right? This will be 3 plus string 4 plus empty string. So we will have string 34, right, times string 10. Now, when you're multiplying, it converts everything to a number. So we get 340. Okay? So order of operation actually matters when you have strings and numbers and everything else. And also remember to use your parentheses correctly, or remember your math order of operations. Remember PEMDAS from 5th grade? Yep, it's going to come in very helpful here too.